It is the cultural and intellectual capital of Pakistan. Lahore, with its 11 million inhabitants, the country's second largest city, birthplace of most Pakistani writers, poets, musicians and actors, nicknamed the Pearl of Punjab. All that hope and enthusiasm crushed, though, from 2008, when a series of deadly attacks destroyed the city's reputation. There followed a wave of 8 years of violence, the last big attack in March of 2016, claimed by the Taliban when a suicide bomber targeted mainly Christians in one of the busiest parks, killing 75 people, many of them children. Those living there saying all communities facing the threat.
They're not targeting only Christians, they're targeting everyone in Pakistan. As you saw, they targeted students in Peshawar. Looking at this incident, we do feel pain because this was our Easter day. But our Muslim brothers, they have children too, and these families are also crying at this time. So whether Christian or Muslim, we're all being targeted.
Well, since that attack, just one smaller incident in 2017 in which killed 5. But police and residents all agree that the last 3 years have seen security and stability largely restored in the city. Cultural festivals have resumed, organisers hoping to restore the splendour of yesteryear to Lahore. And today, Lahore, well, not just a city of culture, it is also becoming Pakistan's technological innovation centre, the regional government encouraging start-ups and renovations of the city. Religious divisions also being healed as Lahore tries to reconnect with its multi-religious past. In 1947, half the inhabitants of the city, a large majority Hindus and Sikhs, fled amid the massacres as India was partitioned. Now, a few thousand Sikh pilgrims allowed to cross the border from India for their annual grand pilgrimage. Well, Philomene Remy and Shahzaid Wala revisit Lahore, the rebirth of a city for France 24.
Lahore is my home, my love and place where I was born. So it's like everything for me. For anybody who's sitting in France or Germany to know about Pakistan and not know about Lahore, I think Lahore is the heart of this country.
As the historical capital of Punjab and one of the most important cities in the Mughal Empire, Lahore was once a thriving base for thousands of Pakistani artists and intellectuals. Even today, the city is home to people like SAADAN PEERZADA, who is one of the pillars of Pakistani culture. For over 40 years, he has organized art and music festivals which have attracted thousands of visitors from around the world. However, promoting the rich culture is a big challenge. Here, Sharia law is a big influence and Islamic extremism has deep roots. On November 22, 2007, one of the festivals organized by PEERZADA was attacked. 3 bombs exploded and a 4th, the most powerful, was found in the parking lot and defused just before people began arriving. Miraculously, there were no casualties.
It was very sad. We lost all the sponsors and their confidence was shattered, and we lost a festival which we built in over 30 years. After that, we could not bring that festival back, and we lost the confidence of all the artists who came from all over the world, you know.
2 years later, PEERZADA's own offices were attacked.
This was a day before the festival which is taking place. We never live in fear because all this made us so strong. And we'll keep on doing all this beautiful work, which is so dear to us. And this whole block flew in the air. There was a very big device, and then next year it was behind the building.
YAMINA, PEERZADA's daughter, has been helping her father, who remains undeterred by such attacks.
Hello, Papa.
Together, they are organizing a Sufi music festival, which is only a few days away.
Are you ready for the festival?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So much to do.
What's the lineup?
Big lineup.
They're hoping the festival will not only help attract tourists, but also revive the magnificent history and culture of Lahore. To give us a glimpse of the city's heritage, Yamina takes us to the old city.
A few years ago, a lot of people stopped going to the inner cities because of fear of terrorism. And that restricted a lot of people to their homes. But in the last 3-4 years, things have changed a lot. They've restored a lot of old buildings and made it safer. So here we are, women who are going on our own. So I think that's been a big change, which is great.
These monuments represent thousands of years of history. One of the jewels of this architectural heritage is the Badshahi Mosque, the 5th largest in the world. It's located right next to the city's fort, which tonight has been opened to the public. Something like this would have been unimaginable a couple of years ago because of the lack of safety in Lahore.
We just started the tour approximately a year ago. And just to get even the youth and the new generation to come back and revisit these places.
One of the main goals is to bring tourists back, and not only locals. Foreign visitors are rare. None are at the fort tonight.
But sometimes that's not the image that goes out of Pakistan, the history, the culture, the heritage. And I think with the tours like this, it kind of shows a different side.
To show another side of the country, PEERZADA gives a platform to musicians like Saba. She sings Sufi music. Sufism embodies a mystical form of Islam.
All that is in your heart is reflected in a unique emotion, and that is Sufi music. It's spiritual. That's not everyone's cup of tea.
However, there are many Islamist groups which regard Sufi music as immoral and are completely opposed to it. In fact, it is extremely rare for women to publicly sing these songs.
Since I have to sing late at night for my concerts, people think I'm a prostitute. In my family, girls aren't even allowed to access higher education. According to them, girls don't need to study after high school. I fought to study, and now I'm fighting for my music.
She isn't the only one who wants to break free from this traditional way of thinking. At the offices of BAAZ, a digital media company of millennials producing entertainment videos, we meet BIYA.
It's constantly people are innovating, you know, every day you hear of a new startup, a new company, a new restaurant run by young people who just want to change everything here. It's almost inspiring to be here now, I think. I moved back from New York and people always ask me, like, why did you come back home? It's because it's here. It's a really exciting time to be in Lahore as a girl, I would say.
Simple question.
She's one of the icons of their YouTube channel.
नहीं तुम रखो ना
अब तुम फोन रखो
अब मैं यास्मीन से बात कर रही हूँ
ओह सॉरी बेटा
You never know here. That's the thing. We enjoy every moment as we can. Our humor is just the worst timed, but it's the best.
The site attracts over 1 million visitors a month. Behind its success are Ali and Ali, two childhood friends who are 25 years old. After a stint in Silicon Valley, they chose to return to their hometown.
We realized that there was like a void within Pakistan for content that was more entertainment focused. So we started out with that focusing more on the younger generation of the country.
But can this generation freely use humor to explore all subjects?
The way we try not to get in trouble is we don't touch politics and we don't touch religion. There are a lot of good things and a lot of bad things in Pakistan, but it's not just black and white. So we want to play in those different colors and really show a different side of Pakistan. We want to change the narrative.
Lahore wants to regain its splendor by attracting young entrepreneurs and revamping the city's infrastructure. The government has built the country's first metro bus network. They're also committed to restoring its heritage, including the iconic wall of the fort with its 600 fresco panels and mosaics. But for his concert, PEERZADA has received no grants. This year, the festival will be organized in a parking lot instead of an amphitheater. For this well-known host, the sudden change of location is a huge blow.
I was telling somebody that it might be my last show. And he said, why do you have to say that? When you reach a point of, I can see the end. And this end needs to be sorted out before it's too late.
But first, he has to ensure there's adequate security for tomorrow's concert.
इसको अपने 21 को बहुत careful रहना है. ठीक है?
The sound system and electrical installations have to be in place. Manu is handling all of this. He has worked as PEERZADA's electrician for several years now. A Christian by birth, he belongs to a minority community, which represents 2% of the population in Pakistan. Despite the difficulties of integration and assimilation, he's chosen to stay in Pakistan. Today, his family is preparing for Easter Mass.
For Christians, it's almost impossible to find a job. Only 1 in 100 Christians here has a decent job. The others are doing the worst jobs. I'm good at mine, but my colleagues criticize me and gang up on me.
His daily life in Lahore is marked by fear and threats.
We're always scared because the situation's very difficult for us here. And for all our religious holidays, security's at maximum because it's proportional to the threat.
Easter Sunday is not just synonymous with celebrations for them. 4 years ago, 2 bombs exploded in a church in their neighborhood during Easter Mass. 8 people were killed and some 50 others wounded. Today's ceremony is taking place under very high security. The city is slowly trying to go back to its multi-faith past. Before 1947, nearly 300,000 Hindus and Sikhs lived together in Lahore. After the partition of India and Pakistan, most of them were forcefully resettled in India. Among the few Sikhs who chose to stay are Inder and his father.
Lahore may not have accepted us, but we have accepted Lahore because we have to live here. But people still ask us if we are Indian and if we got a fake ID card.
Today, they will welcome more than 2,000 Indian pilgrims who have crossed the border for the Baishakhi festival, the biggest festival of the year for the Sikhs.
I'm so happy that we can welcome them in Pakistan. This is the country where Sikhism was born.
Some of these Indians are returning to Lahore for the first time in nearly 70 years.
I feel something wonderful. I'm so happy to be back in Lahore.
This pilgrimage is taking place under high security. Attacks by extremist groups against minorities in the country are very common. The pilgrims will spend a few days in a Sikh temple in the city.
One of our main Sikh gurus who died here gave us these values. For him, there is no difference between Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims.
PEERZADA also promotes this idea of tolerance and inclusivity through his concerts.
All the communities come in, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, and Sikhs, and they watch this show. All this music that we are playing here is for everyone. One music, one heart, one soul, one feeling.
The show is a success. PEERZADA's managed to get the Sufi music queen Abida Parveen and many of the city's notables to attend.
If it has a wider audience and it has a more accessible audience, whether it's a parking lot, whether it is somebody's house, whether it is in a mosque, anywhere, what is most important is it should reach the people.
Manu is at the concert as well.
When I listen to Sufi music, I forget all my problems.
PEERZADA's managed to collect enough funds this evening and will be able to organize this festival again next year. For centuries, Lahore has stood for civilization, culture, and art. Today, the city once called the Pearl of the Punjab is poised to regain its former glory.
Philomène Remy and Shahzaid Wala revisiting Lahore, the rebirth of a city for France 24. Well, that's all from this week's edition. Don't forget, of course, you can catch it and the previous editions as well on our website at france24.com. More news coming up shortly. Thanks for watching.